You made a comment, that most people would kind of take that stance of, Jesus kind of hung out with the sinners, right? And that's kind of where he was. And that's true. I was listening to a podcast, and in the podcast, the person who was speaking, his pushback was like, we get what that means, right? But but this was his pushback. His pushback was, yes, Jesus hung out with the sinners, but he wanted to flip the perspective and said, it was the sinners who hung out with Jesus, and the reason why he said it that way was because a lot of Christians, not a lot of Christians, there are some Christians who have the same mindset, and I'm not saying this is you by any means. Of course, everybody's different walks and everything else, but they have the same mindset of like, well, I need to be where where the lost are and all that. And again, I believe that. All right, I'm trying really hard for the audience to also understand, the playback to understand. I believe that, but I like the pushback, and so I'm tossing this your way, where he was talking about, however, too often a Christian is going, quote unquote, where the sinners are. However, instead of them being the influencer, they end up becoming the influencee, right? Mm-hmm. They try so hard to fit in, to be cool, to be like, hey, no, that's okay. You can go ahead and smoke the blunt next to me. Like, I'm good with it. And again, to a degree, like when if somebody cusses around me, what are they like? They're like, oh, hey, sorry. And I'm like, no, I mean, that's fine. But you. At the same time, I'm okay with the fact that you felt uncomfortable about doing that because I'm here. And I think that should be okay. So I guess my question or my pushback to that is, what are your thoughts on that perspective of, where somebody's going to say like, hey, I want to be where the sinners are, so I can be a light. But then they end up not necessarily being the light that they think that they were.
Yeah. It's real easy for ourselves to get twisted up into that, especially if it's somebody who's from that walk of life, because it's easy to fall right back into that. You know what I mean? You're in the circle and somebody's passing the blunt, and then you don't think about, but yeah, I don't allow myself to get in those situations. The people that I'm around, I make sure that they know where I stand with those things, so they have enough respect. The group that I'm with, they'll have enough respect not to do those things around me, or to let me know when things are like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's always something that you have to check yourself on. You have to make sure that your heart is in it for the right reasons, that you're not going there. I don't go there to try to look cool for them. I go there to let the music speak for me, to let God speak through that music. I don't change the music to make it cooler just for them. I put what's on my heart. And when I go there, like I said, I've got nothing but love. I don't feel like I'm pressured by any of them. They don't try to get me up into things. But it's always something that you've got to check yourself, and you've got to surround yourself by, with a good group. When you go there, you can't go there by yourself. You've got to have somebody there to keep you accountable. You got to have somebody there that you can trust, to know, hey, we came here for this. This is what we're going to do, and execute it. We can't go in there we have to go in there with a purpose. We have to go in there and be intentional. We can't go in there and just flop around, because we can end up, like you said, we can end up getting caught up in it and being the influencee. We can be the one being influenced. We have to make sure that we're being the light and not walking with it, being in the world but not of the world.